Look at any modern office building around 11 in the morning. Inside, you will see a very specific kind of human crisis. Nobody is screaming. Nobody is collapsing onto the carpet. And yet, they are in deep trouble. Their eyes feel heavy, their shoulders feel stiff, and a very simple email looks like a legal document written by a disappointed robot. They are awake, they had coffee, they are technically fine. But their brain has been turned into warm stationery. This is strange, because if you look at the morning, nothing exhausting actually happened. You sat in a padded chair, you typed on a keyboard, you attended a meeting where no one said the main point until minute 26. So, why does it feel like you've been lifting bricks? Why does office fatigue arrive so early and so consistently? The standard explanation is work. But that is not the real answer. Because offices don't just give you tasks, they give you a biological mismatch machine. A machine that quietly fights your evolutionary history. To understand why, we have to look at the invisible tax of being inside. Let's start with the air. When you step outside, the air is clean. The concentration of carbon dioxide outdoors is roughly 420 parts per million. Our brains evolved to think and operate at this exact baseline. But modern office buildings are sealed boxes. Windows don't open, and air is recycled to save energy. Throughout the morning, as people breathe, they release carbon dioxide into the room. In a standard office cubicle, the CO2 level quickly climbs to 800 parts per million. But the real disaster happens in the meeting rooms. Put 6 people in a closed room for 45 minutes. The CO2 level will easily shoot past 1,500 parts per million. Sometimes it reaches 3,000. At these levels, your body begins to notice. In 2016, researchers at Harvard decided to test how this affects human thinking. They placed workers in controlled rooms and changed only the carbon dioxide levels. When CO2 reached 1,400 parts per million, cognitive scores dropped across the board. But the drop wasn't equal for all tasks. For basic task orientation, the drop was minor. But for strategic thinking, the ability to use information, and crisis response, performance in strategic areas plummeted by 50%. You were not just bored by the presentation, you were experiencing a state of carbon dioxide-induced cognitive slowdown. Your brain was starved of the environment it needed to make decisions. So that's the air. But the office tax doesn't stop at what you breathe. You walk back to your desk under the lights. Office light is one of those things people barely notice until they leave it. Then suddenly you step outside and realize your soul had been living inside a photocopier. To your eyes, the light looks constant and flat. But to your brain, it is anything but constant. Most fluorescent tubes and cheap LED fixtures do not glow continuously. They flicker. They turn on and off between 100 and 120 times every second. This flicker is too fast for your conscious mind to see. But it is not too fast for your biology. Deep inside your retina, your photoreceptors register this rapid strobe light. They send a continuous stream of signals to your visual cortex. Your brain must actively process and filter out this rapid strobe light all day long. It is a constant, CPU-intensive background program running in your head. And it does this under a spectrum that tricks your body. Your retina has specialized cells called iPRGCs that read this light. They don't process vision. They sync your biological clock, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which sounds like a supervillain, but is actually just a tiny cluster of cells that syncs your entire body to the time of day. Office light does not do any of this. It is usually a flat, even artificial brightness that does not change between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Your brain gets in at 9 in the morning and receives the same light signal it will receive at 2 in the afternoon. It cannot tell what time it is, which is a problem because your body has an entire schedule built around time. Cortisol, your alertness hormone, is supposed to peak in the morning and taper off. But cortisol needs light cues to know when morning is. In a windowless meeting room, Morning, biologically speaking, never quite arrives. And without that peak, you never get the natural alertness boost your biology was waiting to provide. You are awake. You just never fully woke up. But light and air are just the beginning. The office also controls your temperature. If you have ever worked in an office, you know the thermostat is a battleground. It always feels slightly too cold, especially for women. This is not an accident. It is math. In the 1960s, engineers created a standard formula to determine the ideal office temperature. They calculated the resting metabolic rate of the average office worker at the time. That worker was defined as a 40-year-old man who weighed 154 pounds and who wore a three-piece wool suit. Today, the workforce is diverse, and almost no one wears a three-piece wool suit. Women, on average, have a resting metabolic rate that is between 15 and 30% lower. This means that at 71 degrees, their bodies must actively work. They burn calories to keep their core temperature stable. They perform vasoconstriction, restricting blood flow to their limbs. That is why your hands feel cold. Your body is diverting energy away from your brain to keep your organs warm. You are fighting a quiet metabolic battle against a formula designed for a 1960s businessman. Which brings us to a larger issue. Sitting. Humans are not designed to sit still. They are designed to move almost constantly. Foraging, walking, standing, shifting. Movement is not just exercise. It is how the brain regulates itself. Instead, you are sitting completely still, trying to ignore what your body is telling you. Ignore that your legs are decorative. Ignore that your spine is negotiating. Ignore that your jaw is apparently now part of the project team. When you sit still like this, the activity of an enzyme called lipoprotein lipase drops by 90%, and your body thinks you are hibernating. But it gets worse for your brain. When you walk, blood flow to the prefrontal cortex, the part that handles thinking, increases. But when you sit still for a long time, it drops. Sustained sitting reduces cerebral blood flow, making focused thinking harder over time. Your brain is not getting tired because the work is hard. It is getting tired because sitting still deactivates the muscle pumps in your legs that push blood back up to your head. Without those movement cues, your circulation slows down, depriving your brain of the active blood flow it needs to stay sharp. Evolution never built a human to be a passive rectangle in a box, and the ergonomic office chair only helps defeat your body more comfortably. And all of this happens in a space designed to keep you on edge. Look at the geometry of the modern desk. In 1964, a designer named Robert Probst invented the cubicle. But he didn't call it a cubicle. He called it the action office. It was designed to give workers movement. It had standing desks, 3 walls at soft angles, and privacy. But corporations saw something else. They saw that by flattening the walls to 90 degrees, they could pack more desks. They stripped away the standing options and the premium materials. They turned the action office into a grid of cheap boxes. Probst spent the rest of his life apologizing for it. He called the modern cubicle a monolithic insanity designed for real estate, not humans. The cubicle grid created a new biological problem: vigilance. Throughout human history, the most dangerous place to be was exposed from behind. From an evolutionary perspective, your brain is wired to scan for threats you cannot see. In an open-plan office or a cubicle with an open back, people are constantly walking behind you. You hear footsteps. You hear chairs scraping. Your brain cannot fully relax because it must monitor these inputs. You are in a state of low-level social defense because silence is not the same as solitude, and offices are full of silent social information. You are doing constant building management, body management, and impression management. And somewhere in there, supposedly, actual work. It is not a fight-or-flight crisis, but it is a slow leak. It keeps your nervous system slightly turned up all morning. And then comes the final layer: the attention tax. Modern office work is rarely continuous focus. An open office does not give the brain silence. It gives the brain a continuous low-grade signal stream that is almost interesting but never fully interesting. Someone types nearby. Not you. Someone's phone buzzes. Not yours. A conversation starts across the room. The brain has to check every single time. Because for most of human history, a nearby sound you ignored might matter. This is called involuntary attention capture. In a natural environment, it fires a few times an hour. In an open office, it fires dozens of times per hour. Every time it fires, your brain interrupts itself, evaluates the input, decides it is irrelevant, and tries to return to the original task. By noon, your attention has been nibbled to death by ducks. It is a series of interruptions. You are writing a document. A Slack message pops up. It is a quick question. You click it, answer it, and go back to your document. You think the switch was instant, but cognitively, it was not. Dr. Sophie Leroy, a researcher at the University of Minnesota, studied this. She coined the term attention residue. When you switch from task A to task B, your brain does not clean the slate. A portion of your active memory remains stuck on task A. If you check email or Slack every few minutes, you collect attention residue all morning. By 11 a.m., you are carrying dozens of half-closed loops. Your brain has to work harder just to process simple thoughts, and this cognitive load is physically expensive. Your brain represents only 2% of your body weight, but it consumes 20% of your daily energy. Its primary fuel is glucose. When you force it to switch tasks, open loops, and filter out flicker, it burns through glucose at a massive rate. Your brain is literally running out of gas. That is why you feel tired. Not because your muscles are sore, because your fuel tank has been drained by task switching. So let's look at the morning again. By 11 a.m., you have spent 3 hours in a sealed box with rising CO2, under lights flickering 120 times a second, shivering in a temperature designed for a wool suit, keeping your amygdala active because your back is exposed, while burning through your glucose supply with constant Slack pings. You must regulate your hunger until the socially acceptable time to eat yogurt from a small container. None of these parts seem huge on their own, but stack them together for 3 hours and suddenly a sandwich starts looking medicinal. When you add it all up, the miracle is not that you are tired. The miracle is that you are still functional. So, how do we fight back? You can't rebuild the office, but you can change how you navigate it. First, step outside or open a window every 45 minutes to reset your carbon dioxide baseline. Second, stand up or walk for 2 minutes every hour to reactivate the muscle pumps in your legs. Third, if possible, position your desk so your back isn't exposed to the room. And fourth, batch your communication, checking Slack and email only a few times a day to avoid attention residue. This is the mistake most people make. When we feel flat before lunch, we blame ourselves. We think we lack discipline, focus, or motivation. We buy productivity planners and drink more coffee. But these are individual solutions to an environmental problem. You are an animal, and your animal body is doing exactly what it was evolved to do. It is reacting to a room that was built for scale, cost, and control. A room that treats humans like office machinery. But a printer doesn't need fresh air. A printer doesn't care about the spectrum of light. And a printer doesn't have an amygdala. You do. So the next time your brain feels heavy at 11:30, don't ask yourself what is wrong with your motivation. Ask yourself what is wrong with the room. Because the space you work in is not neutral. It is actively shaping how you feel. Your body is not failing the office is failing your body, and until we design spaces for people, the building will keep winning. If you want to understand more about the hidden systems of daily life, if your brain felt something watching this, that's not a coincidence. That's recognition. Subscribe, because next time we're going to step into a space that knows exactly how to make you lose your sense of direction and quietly take control of your cart.